Welcome back to KTV, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This is Knife Television. I'm your host, Cowboy C Bop. Okay, so I got into a nice conversation with a guy when I was out in Cape Cod, and he absolutely thinks I'm insane. I was telling him about my knife collection and all that, and I didn't get into the YouTube thing or anything like that. I just talking about my favorite knives. And this guy was so cool. He was like, "Brother, I just stick with my Buck 110. And that's it." I'm like, so he was pretty normal. And we all know that I'm not normal. I do have a sickness here. And I just needed to get back to my roots today. Okay. The Buck 110 and the Buck 119, if I was normal, they would be the only knives that I would own. And that's it. It's all you really need. All right. But of course, I have the bug. I go down the rabbit hole ever since that darn Rambo, First Blood. Oh, God. Why'd you do that to me? All right. I just have a passion for this stuff. It's safe, it's harmless, and it's fun. And, it was my private personal collection, and 5, 6 years ago, I was kind of like, pretty much dared to start making videos. So here we are, 6 years, 7 years later. Anyway, what blows me away is, is the prices still made in the USA in Post Falls, Idaho, I believe. All right. I know it's Idaho somewhere, but yeah, Post Falls. I don't know the zip code. All right. But, forget all the Rambos, forget all my customs, you know, forget all my tribute knives, forget all these knives made in the USA, forget all my knives made in Spain from all over the world. Let's just pretend like they don't exist anymore. All right. This Buck 110 is still being sold today. All right. Genuine leather sheath, perfect for your belt loop. I have a couple different sheaths for this knife, but just look at this. I still wish I had the one I used when I was in the Navy. Um, in the 80s, I used the Buck 110 off and on, and I wound up giving it to a friend. All right, God only knows where that's at. Right when I left, I was like, "Here you go, remember me." I figured, oh, I'll just replace it again when I get home at the Army Navy store. I get home in '91, and the Army Navy store didn't exist anymore. So thank God for the internet, right? Oh, I hate the internet. The Buck 110 weighs 7.2 ounces, still selling today for about 60 to 70 bucks, proudly made in the USA. Genuine ebony and brass bolsters. Uh, it's a lockback, one of the first, made of the 420 HC. It's a clip point. Open 8.625 inches, closed 4.875, and the blade is about 3 3/4. It's very reliable, and I'd say out of every single knife on the planet, the Buck 110 probably has the most stories involved. All right, it does. I remember reading one. If you could find this on the internet, check it out. This man was basically being attacked by a grizzly, and the Buck 110 saved his life. So see if you can find that. It's a great read. All right. So the Buck 110 came out in 1964. And why are you fogging up? Oh, that's why, because it was just inside the nice AC, and now it's out here in the humidity. All right. Now this came out in 1964, and I swore that this was the oldest. It ain't. The second knife I would have is the trusty Buck 119 Special. The Buck 119 Special, still selling to this day for about 70 to 80 bucks, depending where you get it. Proudly made in the USA, weighs 7.5 ounces. Thought it was heavier. All right, 10 and a half inches overall with a 6-inch blade. Again, 428C, 4.5-inch black phenolic handle with the aluminum guard. And you know what? Know what's great about these Buck knives? They have a forever warranty. I wonder how many have actually had to return theirs. If you ever return yours, leave it in the comments and tell me why you returned it. What happened? You know, I'm anxious to know. So this is the oldest, I believe, since 1942. The 119 has become one of the most relied upon knives by hunters and outdoorsmen. Can't go wrong. Now, when I say these are made in the USA knives, and they are still, in my opinion, selling at budget prices. Considering, think about what's out there. All right, you got some of your made in the USA knives are like 200, 300, sometimes 400 bucks. All right, these are like 60 bucks, 70 bucks, 80 bucks, and with that forever warranty, you can't go wrong. Let's just check the sharpness out of this to see how they are holding up over the years, huh? Shall we? Yeah, yeah. All right, let's do this. The old 119. That is so much sharper. Oh my goodness, than the 110. All right, so you want a fixed blade or a folder? You can't go wrong. And this is all you need. You know, you're not a collector. I highly recommend. All right, come on. Now, all right, years ago I did a video called "These Are These Buck Knives Are the Beatles of the Knife Industry," because I have two more here. All right, so we got the Buck 120. Let's check out the. And sorry, I don't have the prices. I don't have the prices offhand on these. I just decided to break them out. And there goes my cutting. Don't you love this very organic channel? No bells, no whistles, just the truth. And of course, my all-time favorite, all right, the Buck 124. Look at this fat beast. All right. Now these are kind of old. These are old, very old. All right. And thank God I have purchased other knives that I could beat upon because I try to treasure these now. All right. But that's me. I'm a collector. All right. And definitely, excuse me a second here. They are the Beatles of the knife world, the knife community here. Okay. Let's see if we can do this right. Right. Come on. All right. Pardon me, guys. We're gonna once over these puppies. If I can find a room. Okay. All right. Oh, and how did I put that? All right. I said John, Paul is the 119, George is the 120, and Ringo. That's just the way I call them. You call them what you want. All right. But they're all just so precious to me. They really are. Yeah, one more. One more. The 119 and the 120 have the fullers. The 124 doesn't. But yes, look at these. Come on. Oh Lord. Okay. All right, you really need a once over. I mean, Buck, as I said, they have probably the most stories on the planet. Check out that grizzly bear story, how the Buck 120 had saved this man's life. All right, fascinating. So I'm just saying, guys, you don't have to be a knife collector. You want two knives, you got your folder and you got your fixed. Leave it at that. But then there goes that rabbit hole with more. More, 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 more. I wish my ailment on nobody. But I know you're out there. I know you're out there. Here we go. Which one is your favorite? Do you have any of these? Do you have two of these? Do you have three? Or do you have four? Now, of course, there's more of a rabbit hole to this. You know, they make them with different handles, different steels. These are your basic Fab Four. All right, can't go wrong, guys. All right, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you the next day or so. All right, take care, everybody.